Hi, welcome to Cryptid Wilderness Research Podcast. I am CWR team member Daniel Becker here in Anchorage, Alaska. And joining me, as always, my fellow host from Quincy, Washington, Matt Slater.
Hello.
Joining us tonight, CWR team member, researcher, consultant, and research partner, William Lunsford from the great state of Arkansas. William, thanks for being with us.
Hey, man, glad to be with everybody. Thank y'all for inviting me back.
So before we get into our Q&A, you are just coming out of the first annual Natchitoches, Louisiana Bigfoot Festival.
Right.
So let's jump right in there and tell us about the festival. Tell us what it was like. Tell us what you did. Give us the rundown of the festival.
All right, man, be glad to. Thank you a lot. Again, thanks to all our veterans, man, who make this possible for their sacrifices they've made and all our service people. Let me get that out of the way because that's first and foremost. Man, it was really great. This was actually the first/second Natchez Bigfoot Festival. They had a Louisiana Bigfoot Festival 2 years ago down at Shreveport, and then they decided to. Last year it got canceled for some reason, so this year they decided to move it to Natchitoches, Louisiana. That's the home of the Conservancy National Forest, and didn't really know how it would go. Sometimes when you put those things on, it takes a while to catch on. Well, anyway, this was a really unique festival because everybody there who was a speaker had seen Bigfoot and knew it wasn't just something they do like some of these other folks sit there and tell you what they pick up off some of these other expert shows. These guys have seen them. They've been in there. Let me give you a rundown of I got to speak first, which I'm glad that nobody ran off. They stayed for the rest of the people there. But we had, after I was a speaker, then we had Bobby Hamilton and Jim, and Jim Lansdale. They're two of the guys that were on the show. It's called Killing Bigfoot, but now they've changed the name of the show to Bigfoot is Real. And so it was really, really good. Their speakers, their presentation, they told some of what had happened with them there and there. Let's see. Then we also had... after that, well, like I said, Jim Lansdale. He also is from Louisiana. Bobby was from Beaumont, Texas there. Bobby used to be a professional wrestler. Really, really good guy. I really like both these guys a whole lot. We had those. Then M.K. Davis, the expert on the Patterson-Gimlin film. M.K.'s seen more Bigfoot by accident than most people ever will on purpose. Very, very knowledgeable man. Very, very good presenter. And we're so glad to have M.K. there. And then the last one that we had is a man named Richard Taylor from out of Dallas. And I had never met Richard before, but Richard was really, really good too. He does a lot of research. He goes around nationwide looking around. Very, very informative man. So that was really good. That was what makes this one unique. I was really proud to be associated with because, like I said, everybody there had seen Bigfoot and could tell something from a firsthand point of view that happened to them. And as you know, Daniel, when we get there, sometimes it's only that one little tip that helps you have your very first sighting. But these guys were just full of information. Also, we had the actual real legend of Boggy Creek. Keith Crabtree was there, and he was kind of as a Keith Crabtree. Keith was not actually a speaker, but he was there kind of as a consultant, as a special guest. Really, really enjoyed getting to visit with Keith. And, man, you know what a draw Keith Crabtree is, man. Keith Crabtree can walk into the woods and people show up to talk to him. So really, really a good deal. So, again, we had I wasn't sure what to expect. I was certainly hopeful. I want these guys to have good. This was a brainchild originally of Brian Horn 2 years ago, a friend of mine from Shreveport. And like I said, last year it got canceled, but this year he had some other guys go with him. And so when they did, man, they really had a lot of good things going. There were tables all around, two big rooms there. And then we have one giant convention room, speaker room there. And so I think everybody there, even whenever I got started, there was probably, I'm going to say, probably 300, 350 people in the room when I got started, and we had to start a little bit early. And so to make sure, because there were some people out there, there was actually people lined up around the building even after I got through speaking. And
wow.
so that was good. There was a lot of people. We probably had at one time about 1,500 people in there, and they were having to turn people loose at the door. There could have been as many. I don't know what the fire marshal's limit was, but there could have been as many as 2,000. It was a steady stream. When I got through speaking about 10:45 that morning, I signed autographs and books for people until about 4:30. So, man, that was really, really good. And you know how I am about love. I don't meet a stranger, man. Like I said, I meet people, and then we got friends after that right there. And boy, that was really, really great. And I got to take some lot of pictures with some people that I've actually talked to on some of these other podcasts there, and they actually came.
Nice.
We had a friend that came down all the way from Missouri to come down there. And we had another friend that came from Alabama down there to just come hear me speak, which I consider that to be an honor. They're very, very great friends, and for doing something like that, and I appreciate that. But then I think everybody had that. But man, the way it really went, it went really, really well. It ran smoothly. Again, so everybody, they had a lot of merchandise there, not just Bigfoot merchandise, but they had a lot of things, people who do crafts and things like that. So it was really, really good. And like I said, all the speakers, one thing about these conferences, like I said, when you go, there's always so much to learn as a rule. You need to kind of screen your speakers, see what you've got right there. But there's so much to learn when you have good speakers like that. And man, I would have, for anything in the world, I would have loved to go on there and sit and listen to some of them. But I had my wife back there. She was just iron-handed, just really, really helped me a whole lot there. Like I said, we sat next with Keith right there, and got to visit with him, and then catch some of his folks that came through, some of his overflow crowd, as there always is, So, but it was really, really good. I was very, very proud to see those guys have a good conference. Hoping maybe be a speaker there next year if they get things lined out. And so it was something that I was really, really proud of for them. Again, like I said, a lot of folks there. I probably had 15 people that invited me to come to their property down there around Natchitoches that actually have Bigfoot.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, man, like you and I did one day down there in Louisiana, whenever we stopped there at the little store, down there, and all of a sudden your guy came in and said something about, man, I've got Bigfoot on my property. Can you come? That's always makes you feel good too. Number one, it makes you realize you've had a pretty successful presentation, which I felt like we did because I was very prepared. As I said, I couldn't do this without my wife. I had a update on my phone come in. I had everything set up, all the pictures in order. And when the update got through, all of a sudden, every one of my pictures were scrambled again. So we had to go to Walmart and buy a laptop. And bless her heart, she worked till about 10 minutes till 12, getting that set back up so I could have my presentation at least in some kind of semblance of order right there. So again, y'all know, like I said, I can't do this without her. She's a good researcher as well. And anytime you got a woman that'll at least put up with your research, you got something good, but somebody will actually go out in the woods with you. So I want to give Cindy credit for that right there. She really, really did a heck of a good job. And again, there were some other men there. I don't think any of their wives actually came down there with them, but man, it was very, very nice. Like I said, this is a nice little town. It's a college town. I think it's northwestern Louisiana is the university, but it's only like 2 hours from Texarkana. But man, it was really good. They have I think they said going to have some extra things next year. They had some great T-shirts. The official T-shirt, man, it'll really, really. A nice design on that. And, man, like I said, some of the wisdom of the ages is on Bigfoot T-shirts and bumper stickers, man. So, and hats. So when you can get something like that right there, that's something that I tend to collect. But again, it is. So very, very happy with that right there. Very honored to be a speaker there. Very honored to meet, I said, Richard, that I had never met before. And I've been with Bobby and Richard, Bobby and Jim. Me and Jim were actually down there one day at Mercer Bayou, and he came down, and we went down there. We actually found a Bigfoot track right there on the edge of the bayou, the edge of the boat ramp right there, and probably found another Bigfoot track in there that had kind of washed away some from some of the. But it was really, really good, very, very knowledgeable. And again, if I'd have given anything, just be able to sit out there and just listen to them, but we couldn't. But all these guys are still staying busy. Hopefully we may put something together next year, just not sure if we can get it all together. So I'm not going to tell what it is. I don't want nobody to steal our ideas. We'll get you guys to come down as well. But to have some guys like that is back because it really was really good. I'm hoping that we'll have another Bigfoot conference this year. Last year I was speaker at Nebraska, this year at Louisiana, and do a few more. Me and Keith one here coming up on, I think it's October the 13th down there at Caddo Lake. And so we'll be down there doing that one right there. And that's going to be really, really good too. Caddo is home, what's called the Caddo critter. It's a creature that's been around, or a being that's been around for a long, long time. A lot of people have seen him. I actually had a friend 2 years ago contact me. Again, somebody, like I said, was not friends, still in. Contacted me. He invited me to his place, and we sat up there for 4 hours and listened to Bigfoot sounds of Bigfoot running around his deer stand trying to run him out of there. So that was cool. And he had a big Clips horn speaker. So when you heard it, man, you heard it really good. You're just hair stamp on the back of your neck, So, but Caddo is right there on the banks of Texas and Louisiana, right there on the border. And so again, it runs to a little town called Karnak and Jefferson, down through there, and then it goes into the bayous of Louisiana. So that's going to be a good deal for me and Keith. I always enjoy getting to work with Keith. I say he and I are good friends. You won't find a finer man, as far as he's a big man as far as in character and legend and physical. He's just he's a hoot, and he's always cutting up. You can't be in a bad mood around him. So I'm going to enjoy, looking forward to doing that as well. Hopefully going to pick up some other stuff here. I'm going to try to get to visit some of these people that invited me to their places, because like I said, man, what people don't realize about Bigfoot are not teddy bears. And when these things come around these people's house, they're not coming out there just walking around the fields and, oh, look at me. What they're actually doing is coming up, banging on people's houses. They're actually terrorizing their livestock, terrorizing their dogs. I've got a friend here who shared a story with me that I'm putting in my new book. You're searching for the unfindable, find the impossible. And this thing actually, whenever him and his wife pulled up in their driveway, the thing actually came and banged on the side of the car with still in it just as soon as they got there. And so the wife didn't even want to turn around and look to see what it was because she was so scared. And then the husband went out a couple of nights later. They were sitting there going to have a movie night at home, so he went outside to go get his snuff can out of the truck. When he did, he sees something there that's on top of the car. Well, he thought his wife maybe left her purse or left a shopping bag. All of a sudden, this shopping bag comes running around the end of the car as fast as it can go, heading right towards him. So he always carried a 9mm. Luckily, he whipped it out with just enough room. He got about 5 shots right into the creature there, the center mass. A couple of nights later, he's sitting there. It's coming to the door, coming to the window, like Bigfoot does. That's a classic Bigfoot behavior. They're going to get you back. They're a vengeful animal. They're funny. They may be just messing with you, but anything that's theirs is theirs, and anything that's yours is theirs if they want it. So again, that's a true story. It was actually featured there at one of the Bigfoot conferences there, like I said, from a couple of men that are my friends, Michael Waldy and Logan Kraft. So again, that's one of these strange things that you find out here, and but they never thought anything like that would have happened. And then they got a call, and they were looking, and Michael actually bought the door and the window from the people because it had the smudges from the whatever the fluid is that Bigfoot has on its hands and faces, and it actually had smudges of faces on the window and stuff, and so handprints and everything else. So again, that's going to be something that you'll read about. You can read the rest of the story in my book here. Whenever I get this, it's almost ready. I'm through 10 chapters, and this will be book number 2. And my next book will be a picture book of all the Bigfoot pictures that we have. And y'all will see some by Daniel there that we've been in the woods after. And like I said, certainly one of the best pictures I've ever seen. And we both standing right there looking at it. There's no doubt about what we're looking at. And the thing, I go back a couple of days later with a meter stick. That's it's had a tape measure grooved into the side, and it's probably about a 12-foot stick that you can flip up on a hinge and get up there, and you can see what you got. We had a Bigfoot looking at me and Daniel over there that was 10 foot 6 inches tall.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. And we're right in the field with it. That's the cool part about it. We're right in the field just looking at him. Then we finally go back to the truck and we get ready to leave. We cross a road there, the crossroads, and go down there. And sure enough, then there's a mama walking across the field. She stops, and we have a 10-minute staring contest. I'm like, man, I'm so excited because I'm going to get my very first Bigfoot video of a Bigfoot walking, and she stops. And we sit there and we have what's called the Mona Lisa stare. We stare at each other, but I kept seeing something that was wiggling around on her waist right there. And I told Daniel, I said, well, I need to get back for this deal. My sister had something going. I said, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this picture. So I take that picture, a still picture, on the way home, and come back and blow it up. And right there, you can see Mama's face, and she's the only one I've ever seen that really has a like a human type nose. It's almost like a proboscis monkey, that monkey that has a longer snout like that right there. But then you can see the eyes, but then down around her waistline, you see the baby, and you see the baby's eyes as well. And boy, she had a beautiful brown coat, man. Looked like Zsa Zsa Gabor out there with one of her minks, as far as they go. Very, very beautiful animal. And so that was just what me and Daniel got in 20 minutes. And whenever he had to go then, and I went down there driving down the same road, there was 5 of them over there in and around a big dead tree. One of them looked just like Patty. And a lot of times when people don't see these Bigfoot like that, everybody's expecting Bigfoot to be sitting there and sitting up like this. When you see a lot of these these Bigfoot have got their head turned like this. I can show you 10 pictures I have of when you got a picture of Bigfoot, and they'll have their head turned. They know the value of not popping that head up. So again, that's a something there that is really, really a strange characteristic of Bigfoot, but it's something to kind of think about when you're in the woods like that, if you ever go looking around there. So I'm going to just kind of leave it with y'all right there. See what y'all have any questions or anything else like that to talk about the festival. Again, got to promote my book, Searching for the Unfindable, right there. And folks, it's, even if I wrote it, I'm going to tell you, it's full of good information. It's full of information I've learned through 47 years now of Bigfoot research. And I try to share it with everybody. I'm not going to try to sit there and be one of these arrogant people that says, oh, well, I'm the greatest Bigfoot hunter in the world. Bigfoot has a lot more to do with it sometimes than what we do. But I was able to chronicle all this and add some things in here. My new book will have in there some of the classic Bigfoot behaviors. And when I have the classic Bigfoot behavior, I'm actually going to put it in boldface type. So when you're looking through there, you'll be able to see it. So that'll be just really quick. You can go through and chronicle that as well. So anyway, that's just about what I've got going on. Like I said, very honored to be at the Louisiana Bigfoot Festival right there. Like I said, to have the folks that came down to visit and to make the new friends that I did. Man, I'm having withdrawals because last Friday night was when we went down there. And then, man, right now I'm like, golly, I ought to be having a Bigfoot festival tomorrow. But anyway, it went good, and you can't get enough of a good thing. But that'll give me something to look forward to. So again, man, I'll let y'all ask some questions if you want to there and see what about some of the festival and things like that.
For the question and answer section here, I'd just like to ask real quick if you have any advice for people who are interested in getting into the field research aspect of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Is there any some 2 or 3 things that might be really simple? Basic things that they might need to know.
Yep, there sure is, man, and I'm glad you asked me that. Number one is you're going to take some ridicule. I told y'all before there, everybody thinks, well, you're just trying to get your 15 minutes of fame. Well, 12 of those 15 minutes are ridicule. Have some thick skin. Don't get upset because sometimes it involves asking people. And then some of them are going to laugh at you. But every one of those, wherever you get a hit, like on a slot machine, it's definitely worth all the other times that you did. So number one, I said, have thick skin. Don't get wound up if somebody, picks at you or something other like that right there. Because that first Bigfoot sighting you have, it's going to be worth all the ridicule that you've been through. The next one I'm going to say is man, try to find you a place. Bigfoot hunting is not an inexpensive habit. You got the gas, you got the refreshments, you got the bug repellent, you've got if you're going to use game cameras and things like that, you got the cell phone that you're going to take right there. You're going to have some kind of water, maybe a good walking stick or something like that. So it's not an inexpensive habit. So before you go, folks, there's several websites on there that you can look at. From several of the states have their very own Bigfoot page there, as far as like Pennsylvania Bigfoot, Kentucky Bigfoot, and they'll list some of their sightings. You'll find in there with North American Wood Ape Conservancy. That's one of the original ones that they had. They've got a listing of some of the sightings. And then you've got Gulf Coast, which was started by Bobby Hamilton, the guy speaking about that was one of my speakers. He started Gulf Coast Bigfoot Research. And then actually Bigfoot Field Resource Organization has got a listing of sightings also. So get on there, excuse me, and if you can, and look around, see if there's anything what's new is going around. If there's some place there that you've been wanting to go, like one place I want to go, Daniel's, I don't know if he's been there or not, but being from Ohio, I'd like to go to Salt Fork State Park there because there's just all kinds of things going on down there. There's a lot of people that have asked me, hey, man, I would love to come to Falk and go down to Boggy Creek. And so look for somewhere where they've had some sightings. That way you don't waste your money. They're going to be, if you're going to fish, you got to go to the river. And that's the same. That's kind of a bad cliche, but it's true. Go somewhere where they're having some sightings or have some activity. Don't waste your money and don't waste your time because it's going to end up leaving you where you're depressed rather than excited. And you want to leave the woods excited. And so do that right there. Another thing is, man, carry you some kind of protection, not to shoot Bigfoot. Unless he charges you or your family, then you've got to make that decision. I made no kill except for that situation there, and I would kill a snake doing the same way. But then too, there's also some people out there that you've got to watch for. Some of these guys want to sit there and try to mess up your hunt or try to mess with you. You've got to have some kind of protection. Down here, We got bears like what y'all have. We don't have the grizzlies like y'all got up there, but we got bears. We got wild hogs. Man, a wild hog would like to kill the guy down here the other day and gored him through the femoral artery right there, and like to bled to death. Had a boot full of blood whenever they finally got it off. I've been swollen so much. But you want to have that. Like I said, you got coyotes, you got panthers, all those kind of things. You want to have some way to take care of yourself. That's something that you want to alleviate, that you don't want to have in the back of your mind, where you have at least some kind of protection there that'll give you that courage to be able to concentrate on your Bigfoot hunting. And then there's another one, like I said, you got to have your refreshments. And you can't go out there without water. I can't. Even sometimes your walk around that you'll have there through the woods and over the limbs and over the logs. Sometimes by the time you get through walking, although you may not have covered maybe a half a mile, you've done walked 3 miles getting through all the brush and stuff. So carry some water, because man, your cramps are going to set up on that right there, and then it'll keep you hydrated. And then too, folks, get you some pickle juice if you're prone to cramps. Believe it or not, pickle juice, take you a swig of that stuff, and it will actually alleviate your cramps. So take you a little bottle. You can get them there at some of these little department stores or at Walmart, something like that. Take you some of that right there. Take you a good camera. Man, a good camera means everything in the world. To memorialize what you got, I use my cell phone camera. And I started out with a little Razor flip phone, or actually a Nokia, when I first started doing cell phones, they didn't have the cameras on. Then got a little Nokia cell phone, then got a little Motorola flip phone, and then upgraded like that. But I had several pictures I would have loved to have with a higher definition camera, but didn't have it. Be sure you invest in you a good. You can take a digital camera. You can take one of the others that you get. It doesn't have to be on your cell phone. But I take my cell phone with me just so I can have a freedom of hands movement, don't have a lot of stuff cluttering me up. And take pictures of everything that you see. If you're not sure, take pictures. Share that information with somebody else that may have a little more experience than you, or contact you guys. So, hey, man, I've got this. What do you think about this right here? Sometimes it's not 100% definable, but don't ever throw it away. I cannot tell you what I've got. I've got on my phone a file of something called the almost file. And that's where I've got Bigfoot, where I've almost got Bigfoot right there. And I get his arm, he's standing right there, and then all of a sudden you get something you think, oh gosh. So save that into what's called an almost file. And then later on, sometimes when you go look at it through fresh eyes, or you're tired, or you've seen something that somebody else has had, and you go in there and you look, you're like, oh man, there it is right there. Have you a good camera? I had one time that we came in. The Bigfoot was picking up my camera. Me and Stephen were up there, and we knew he was picking the camera up, because he put it back, crazy, which is crazy. That's the way they are. That's one of their obsessive compulsive behaviors. He put it back, but it wouldn't be in exactly the same place. And I told Stephen, he is picking up my camera. So finally, one day we get up there and we get this SD card, and man, it's full of pictures of Bigfoot, baby Bigfoot and everything like that. But I've got the one picture I can't figure out what it is. And so long story short, when he picked it up, the picture that he finally got there, he had his mouth like this, right? His mouth right in front. Well, it was like 45 degrees there, so I couldn't figure out, because I was thinking it was straight up. I took it and loaded it onto Cindy's tablet, went into the bathroom, turned off the light, and started taking pictures. And when I turned the light back on, I was just blown away, because evidently I had it just at the right angle. Because the first thing that popped up there is a picture of Bigfoot biting my camera, and from the inside, and Bigfoot teeth. And y'all have seen that picture before. Yeah. Bigfoot, most Bigfoot that I've seen have got 4 teeth right here. They've got a space, and that space is called the primate space. That's where the canine tooth goes up from the bottom right there, and goes into that right there. And then they've got the canines that I've seen so far haven't been but just a little bit longer than the regular set of teeth, the regular tooth line right there. But that right there, and I was able to get that just by night. If I'd have thrown that away, I started deleting. And me and Steve, I'm like, Stephen, what do you think? Oh man, I don't know if we'll ever figure out what that is, but I saved it. And man, now I wouldn't trade that for anything. I was able to share that with a lot of people this weekend. And a friend of mine named Michael Waldy actually has a picture of a Bigfoot standing in the mouth of a cave, and it's sitting sideways like that too. Well, I was able to sit there one night and actually find those teeth for Michael, man. And he had just not seen it yet, because he didn't know to tilt the camera like that, like what I told y'all a while ago, the patty type Bigfoot do. So those tips right there, like I said. And here's another tip. Don't go by yourself unless you just have to. Don't take your dog. That can work out bad for the dogs, not just because of Bigfoot, because some other things. Don't take your dog. And there's a time period there that you don't want to take. your young lady with you. That's for sure. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be crude or vulgar, but even my wife, when we have people go with her, she'll tell the friends of hers that are going with us, if there's certain things going on, we'll reschedule this for another time. And so that's a delicate way I know of saying it, but don't do, because it can actually escalate. They actually can smell those pheromones and those hormones. So don't do that right there. But that'll get you started right there. And like I said, don't go on a trip. If you have to go on real far, then that's fine too. Prepare for that. Like I said, get yourself in shape for some hiking. Rather than that, kind of start around the house, getting looking around, looking. If you're going to try to cast some tracks, go out there in your yard and find you a mud puddle or something like that, and put your foot in there, and then try to cast that track right there instead of trying it when you get into the field. That way you're prepared. I can't tell you how much a good track to cast a track is going to cost you about $4 to $6 on a regular size human foot. That gets expensive, man. I mean, it really does. I mean, and like I said, it's not an inexpensive hobby, but it's really worth it. And I've got some friends up there that's of Southern Bigfoot Alliance, Brian Hewlin and Shane Church. Man, they're some of the best that you've ever seen as far as for casting tracks. And that's what they do. They practice casting their stuff before they get there. So those are just some tips right there, like I said, that are really going to be worthwhile to you later on, that I've experienced, like I said, for 47 years of that right there. So remember those. And again, remember that Bigfoot is not a teddy bear. It is a wild being, whatever it is, and there's a lot of things that can happen. So again, don't let your guard down. When you watch for Bigfoot, look at the daggum tree lines right there. A lot of times Bigfoot stand called hiding in plain sight, and they stand right there. They don't move. One of the things that we see as people, we see movement. If they stand still, they're pretty sharp. They know that, hey, well, there's a pretty good chance I'm not going to be seen. And so do that right there. Like I said, look for in your lines in the edge of the forest. Most of your lines in the forest are like this with your trees and stuff, they're up and down like this. Look for something that goes crossways like that. When that right there, that's a key. There's actually something there that's probably a little different. I won't say not supposed to be there, but a little different. Again, look for the glint of an eye, man. Look for that flick of an ear or something other like that. And look for your difference in colors. So not all Bigfoot are the same color. My first ones were all black. I'd have swore to you every Bigfoot there was black. Then I start seeing some that are rust colored. And then we see one day that's kind of a silverish gray color. And then we get another that's a light brown color. And so they're just not all the same. So again, look for a variance in color from what you have there around your normal forest. And again, pay a lot of attention and take those pictures, save them, and you'll be surprised what you can get. So that's just a few tips, but I hope they're beneficial for everybody because it's a really, really rewarding subject and a real rewarding habit, if you want to call it a habit, that you can have.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's really good advice for those getting into the field. So before we close here, what do you got coming up?
Coming up here pretty soon. Like I said, I've got that Bigfoot conference down there on Caddo Lake, and that's going to be good. Those are some good old people, man. You heard the song "Son of a Gun," going to have big fun on the bayou. When you pull down there on the bayou, you've got fiddles, you've got people playing Zydeco music, you got people laughing and cutting up and everything else like that. So they're really having a good time. They're sharing their food like you do, like some of these tailgate parties that me and Daniel have been to, going to the UFL games. Well, they have the same thing there. They're wanting to share, wanting to have a good time. Unless somebody just gets really plastered, there's nobody down there to fight. They're just there to have a good time. It's family stuff, and you're right there on the banks of Caddo Lake, and there is an opportunity, regardless of what anybody says, the Caddo critter is there, and there's an opportunity to see that Caddo critter drive some of those back roads, and so you got that opportunity there. Let me add one thing or two things here to what I said a while ago. Sure. Get you some yellow glasses. Man, if you have, I've got some right here. I meant to show these to you. But you see these yellow glasses right here? These yellow lenses, they pick up so much more detail and so much more light than what you have with what you can see with your regular eyes. So plus, it's also going to give you eye protection going through the woods, man. I mean, you can hear right there. And I can't tell you how many times I got myself poked in the eye or got a piece of grit, something other in my eye. And then two, another trick that I have there is I sometimes carry a slingshot with me, and get your few pockets full of rocks. There's lots of gravel roads where we have, and if you see something down there you're not sure, whip that sucker back shoot that rock in that woods. If he's there, he's going to go look to see what makes that noise. That's his territory, and he's not going to let nothing come through it unchallenged. And that's a good way to get you a sighting also. So those about 7 or 8 tips right there. But folks, those are all good tips, man. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive to be effective. Remember that.
Very good info.
So from the great state of Arkansas, CWR team member, researcher consultant, and research partner, William Lunsford, thank you so much for being with us again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And every time we talk to you, we've learned something new. So thanks a lot for coming on with us tonight.
Thank y'all for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all for dealing with this. I sound like Froggy on The Little Rascal, so thank y'all for dealing with Froggy here. But I'll be well next time.
So for myself, CWR team member Daniel Becker in Anchorage, Alaska, and my fellow host in Quincy, Washington, Matt Slater, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.